Hey guys, what's going on? Tasty here with another episode of Pro Wrestling Straight Shooter. I want to jump right into today's topic and discuss some comments that Stone Cold Steve Austin had made regarding Stephen Amell's performance at SummerSlam 2015, as well as some things that he said about the use of celebrities as in-ring talent on wrestling shows. I'm going to analyze this from two perspectives. One, as a fan, and two, as somebody who's trained and worked in front of a crowd and wrestled, in front of people. I'm going to start off as a fan. I'm going to say that I was impressed with Stephen Amell's performance. I applaud his guts to go out there and actually do it. And I also applaud the fact that it came across as very genuine and very organic and very real. Obviously, he wasn't out there just promoting Arrow. He wasn't promoting the next Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. He was out there because it was something that he wanted to do. He's a fan of the WWE. He's a fan of pro wrestling, and he has a genuine appreciation for what these men and women put themselves through every night. And a lot of times when you get these celebrity involvement, that's not what comes across. It's very obvious that they're out there just for their own personal gain, and they have no interest in pro wrestling beyond what they're trying to get out of it at the moment, be it promoting a movie, promoting a TV show, or whatever they're trying to do. And I'll take a couple examples of that. One would be Ben Stiller and the whole cast of Mystery Men when they came out and they did the whole thing there. It was just very obvious they were trying to promote the movie, and they had no involvement in wrestling as fans or otherwise beyond that. As well as going even further back, the use of William Shatner when he gave the monkey flip to King Jerry Lawler. It was obvious he was out there just trying to promote Tech War and had zero interest in the product beyond that particular moment. And for me, that comes across very poorly. But when you take a guy like Stephen Amell or Hugh Jackman, when Hugh Jackman came out and did his thing, it was very obvious he was into it, he was involved, and he wanted to put on a good show for the fans because he wanted them to enjoy it, but he was also enjoying it as well. Same thing with Mickey Rourke. Although they didn't do much with Mickey Rourke beyond the little thing with him and Jericho, I think it would have came across very well because, again, Mickey Rourke has an appreciation for the wrestling industry beyond what most celebrities do because he did a bit of training for the wrestler. And he actually worked real live matches in front of live crowds during the filming of that movie. So when you use these celebrities in that aspect, and they're obviously there and they're pouring their heart into it because they believe in it and because they enjoy it, I think it comes across a lot better than it does in other instances. Now, looking at it from the worker and the side of it that Steve Austin is coming from, I'm not going to entirely disagree with his comments. When you're a trained professional and you've been in the ring and you've wrestled matches and you know what you're doing in that ring, it can sometimes be very difficult and sometimes even painful to watch untrained or minimally trained celebrities go in there and try and work a match. And it becomes painful not only for a couple reasons. One, you're waiting for them to injure themselves. You're waiting for them to injure someone else. But it also lowers the in-ring talent to a certain degree, and I'll give you a couple of examples why. When you take the Stephen Amell match, that match all of a sudden became about Stephen Amell. Not Neville, not Stardust, not Wade Barrett. It was all of a sudden about Stephen Amell, how good can he be in that ring, and whether or not he's going to win. And that's a subject I'll get to in a minute. It lowers the talent in that aspect. It also, and this is something that pro wrestling has been fighting for as long as it's been, in existence, and will probably continue to fight, is the stereotype that any idiot can get in there and do it. And that's just not true. And when you have these celebrities go in there and they're working matches and they're going over on the in-ring talent, it really does give people that expectation of, hey, I can get up and do this. Well, you can't. You actually have to go in and you have to train. You have to train for months and months, sometimes years and years, to get in there and have a believable match. It's more than getting in there and performing moves and bumping and protecting yourself. You've got to learn crowd psychology. You've got to learn, again, just how to work a match and make it believable. And it's very difficult to do that with the minimal training that they give these celebrities. It also takes away from the mystique of what might happen in a pro wrestling match. When you take Stephen Amell, Lawrence Taylor, going back to WCW when Mongo McMichael had the NFL guys versus the WCW guys, there was very little mystery in who was going to win that match. This is obviously a one-time gig for these guys. It's not like they're going to be part of the regular roster. It's not like they're going to win some, lose some. This is their one and only shot in the ring, and it's very painfully obvious that they're going to come out on top. Now, sometimes it comes across really, really well, like in the Stephen Amell match. Neville got the win. Stephen Amell did his things. He got a couple of high spots in there, but the actual pinfall went to Neville. And I think that's the right way to do it because you still have a wrestler pinning a wrestler. But when you take like Lawrence Taylor, everybody knew easy for me to say, Lawrence Taylor was going to win. At the end of the day, he won. And for me, while it was enjoyable to watch as a fan, it was rather hard to watch otherwise. And looking back at it now, I can't even watch it now that I've actually trained and been in the ring. So looking at it from Steve Austin's perspective, that's how he paid his bills, made his living, and when you think about guys like that, there are thousands upon thousands upon thousands of guys who will never work a SummerSlam match, who will never work a WWE match, who will never work a TNA, a Ring of Honor, a Lucha Underground match. And you get these celebrities who kind of, because of who they are, they get shoved to the front of the line. And again, this isn't meaning to be negative, but it's going to come across as negative. They get shoved to the front of the line because of who they are, and they get promoted like hell. You take a guy like Steve Austin, who that's how he paid the bills, and you take guys who, that's their livelihood, it does lower them a bit, and they do take it personally, and I can understand why. I'm going to close it with this, and if I had to say anything to Steve Austin, I would say, one, I agree with you, I get where you're coming from, but at the same time, lighten up a little bit. It's pro wrestling, and at the end of the day, using somebody like Stephen Amell, using a Lawrence Taylor, using celebrities like Hugh Jackman, it kind of opens up the audience a little bit and kind of broadens the product out there and gives it a little bit of mainstream publicity. And at the end of the day, is that really such a bad thing? I'm going to leave that hanging in the air. I want to thank you guys for watching. I also would like to get your opinion. What did you think of Stephen Amell's performance? Two, what are your opinions on the use of celebrities as in-ring talent, or even just as, using them in general, like they did with Jon Stewart as a guest announcer, or like a guest host, so to speak. Anyway, I'm going to let you guys go from there. I'm Tat Steeds. Thank you for watching, and I'm out.